All right, let's talk about a story that, well, it starts out as one thing and then bam, it just completely flips the script. We're going to try and unpack this really dense, genre-bending narrative called Wilp. So let's just dive right in. So the story kicks off in a pretty weird way. Not with a character, not with a scene, but with this big debate about the future of AI. And first up, you get this really stark warning from Elon Musk. He's basically saying we're on a clock and something seriously dangerous could happen, and soon. But right after that, you get the total opposite take. This idea that AI won't bring war, but deep compassion and love. So you're thinking, okay, I see what this is. This is going to be a deep philosophical story about technology, right? And then, just to hammer it home, we get one more optimistic view. AI will help us work better, live longer, have cleaner energy, the whole utopian dream. It feels very high concept, super forward thinking, and then the story just pulls the rug right out from under you. Because, surprise, this story isn't actually about AI. It's not about the future at all. It just throws us headfirst into this really gritty, unsettling present. And the mysteries here, they are way more, well, visceral. And I mean, just like that, we're in the deep end. The whole AI thing is gone. Now we're in a place that feels, almost comfortingly familiar if it wasn't so dark. It's a classic police procedural. A dark park, a dead body, we know this setup. So we meet our protagonist, Detective Samantha Atkins, and she's arriving at this just horrific crime scene. The victim isn't just dead. She's been posed, displayed, tied to a tree with vines in this crucifixion pose. Right away, this is not your everyday murder case. And then the medical examiner, Dr. Richards, starts listing his findings, and things go from just disturbing to deeply, deeply ritualistic. He says the butchery happened after she was dead, and the cuts are surgically precise. All her major organs, gone. Removed, then burned in a cauldron nearby. And get this, the killer used a mix of her blood and the soot to paint these bizarre symbols on the tree. Yeah, this is something else entirely. This case is so far out there that the ME, a guy who's seen it all, his first instinct isn't to call for more forensics. Nope. He wants to call in a different kind of specialist. His exact words are someone who looks into the strange and weird. And that call leads us to our second main character, a guy named Sean. And let me tell you, he's anything but a typical consultant. When Samantha finally meets this guy, it's like she's walked straight onto a movie set from the 1940s. I'm talking his office, his clothes, the fedora, the way he talks. It's all pure detective noir. He is completely out of place in the modern world, a man literally out of time. And it understandably really unnerves her. And we pretty quickly find out why he's so strange. Through a few flashbacks, we see that Sean isn't just some quirky guy with a weird fashion sense. For decades, he and Dr. Richards have been running these tests on him, trying to figure out what he is. And it turns out he's immune to all the classic monster movie weaknesses. Crucifixes, holy water, even a stake through the heart. Nothing works. He's something new, and he seems to be completely indestructible. Okay, so just when you think you've got a handle on this thing, gritty detective story but with a supernatural twist, the story decides to just completely blow your mind all over again. So Sean leads Samantha through this totally normal-looking door in a pub, and they step out into a different version of her city. It's the same place, but not. The polluted river is crystal clear. The traffic is gone, replaced by carriages pulled by unicorns. LED streetlights are now old Victorian gaslights. It's a hidden, magical world literally existing in parallel to her own. And Samantha's reaction is pretty much exactly what yours or mine would be. Just stammering, total disbelief. What is this? The story has just completely shattered the reality it spent the last little while building up. So yeah, what is this place? And Sean's answer? It only makes things weirder. He tells her, look, I'm from your side, the normal world. But then she asks if he's human, and his response is just this calm, simple, oh no. So if he's from our world, but he's not human, then what in the world is he? So, the rules of reality have been thrown out the window. Now, this unlikely pair has to hunt their killer in this brand new magical world. Their first stop is a club called Vegas, which is run by a fairy named Tony who's like 6 inches tall. And instead of security cameras, Tony has this ability to magically rewind time in the room. He shows them these ghostly echoes of what happened the night before. And just like that, they see their suspect. So when they finally catch up to this guy and confront him, he reveals just how monstrous he really is. There's this horrible cracking sound of bone, and his head twists a full 180 degrees to look at Sean, while his body doesn't move at all. Definitely not human. And then the creature makes it personal. It looks right at Sean and says something absolutely vile about his wife. And in that moment, you realize this isn't just another case for Sean. This is digging up a very old, very deep wound. And now, finally, we get to understand that wound. The story connects this monster directly back to the single event that completely defined Sean's entire long existence. This is Sean's origin story. Years ago, his wife, Lorna, was murdered. He found the guy who did it and got his revenge, brutally. But with nothing left to live for, he took his own life. Only, he woke up, cursed to be immortal. You see, for Sean, this isn't a gift, it's a prison sentence. He's trapped, forced to live with that grief forever. And as they're fighting, the monster drops this bombshell. It says, "You know where we are, Blood King? This is where I made you." It's revealing this horrifying connection. It's claiming it's the one that turned Sean into whatever he is. It's taunting him right in the very place his old life ended and this cursed one began. So they managed to defeat the creature's body, but it's not over. Not even close. This little sliver of silver dust, its real essence, shoots out, burrows into the ground, and then a giant, impossible tree just erupts from the concrete. In seconds, its story's high. The monster isn't dead, it just transformed. And just as you're trying to wrap your head around that, the whole narration shifts. A brand new voice cuts in, and it identifies itself as the devil. And he completely reframes everything we just saw. This wasn't a murder mystery. This wasn't even just a story of revenge. This was the origin story of how he ended the world. Which leaves us with a pretty terrifying question, doesn't it? Was that tree the beginning of the end?